Alright, Diablo 4 players, let's go over how to farm everything in Season 10 updated. So, for starters, let's go ahead and go over some of the more important updates as well as certain new tools that we have for specifically Season 10. There's a lot of newer things that have been introduced into the game, as well as a way for you guys to find people in your group. If you use the Diablo like Finder, it's not as great because I'll be honest, most of the people there are kind of a little bit more casual, and that's okay. However, there's a lot better players that I can point you in the direction to find. We're going to talk about trading as well as all the different ways that you're going to be able to get all of the brand newer items in the game for Season 10. So for starters, I want to go ahead and start off by mentioning that the most efficient way, if you're looking for a very specific item or looking for gold, there is only real one way to kind of guarantee that, and that is using some sort of a trade website. Diablo.trade is probably one of the best ones that is available, and it still is kind of clunky. People don't respond. I'm going to also recommend you guys to check out a video that I've made that goes over how to use the trade website if you want to, but I'm just going to mention that if you're looking for specifically a very specific aspect, or if you need a very specific rune or a unique, that's kind of your best route to actually go for. However, I'll show you guys how to kind of farm what you need in the video, but that's just the fastest way if you already have gold. On top of that, there's a lot of updates to Season 10. A lot of the smaller currencies now just drop instead of having to go salvage the items. This has been an update that they've been constantly updating the game, and a lot of the blues and yellows, as you progress further in the tormented difficulty, they just get converted to your materials. But the thing that's going to really expedite your speed process for getting a lot of these things like aspects and stuff is just picking up all the stuff off the floor, salvaging it, and then if it's a greater affix, you can then look at it to see if it's even worth going for. But it's mainly the whispers in this particular season that is very good right now because of the double chests that you're going to be getting. And then also I want to mention at the start that playing with more people is genuinely going to be the most efficient. One area that I could recommend you guys to do is use this Discord called the Sanctuary Diablo 4 community. It does have official Blizzard people in there, but it's just like the biggest Diablo community, and you can see right now I just took the screenshot of it, and there's just a bunch of people that are looking for like people to run the pit with, or the Undercity, or the Infernal Hordes. There's a lot of people that are also looking for other people to play with, and playing with people is going to be the most efficient. Alright, so now that we got kind of like the intro and some of the things I wanted to mention out of the way, let's go over individually each area in terms of like what's the best way to farm whatever, right? So it's going to be an everything video. So as far as it goes, the Paragons, if you want to get XP, the best way by a long shot is to do the pit. There's nothing even close to the pit in terms of XP. There is a website that can kind of give you a calculator in terms of what's going to be the best pit for you. And it's ideal that you do at least like Tormented 4 level difficulty for the pit, and also you can input like what your current Paragon level is and what your goal is. But I'm going to be real, hitting Paragon 300 shouldn't really be a realistic goal for most people. I would say most people will kind of tap out at 250, but what you do is you type in like your current Paragon level, what you want to get to, and then what pit tier can you do. Honestly, try to do a pit tier that you can do in under 4 minutes. I know that there are some builds that don't really have mobility because of the Chaos Uniques. You don't happen to have those slots. You may want to actually consider swapping out and losing DPS to get a faster build. Even if you are clearing a lower tier in pit, it's just going to be way more efficient over here. Like the difference between a pit 65 and a 150 is double the amount of experience. And you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you want to do the max amount? Well, one, no one can do a pit 150, and the difficulty for a pit 150, even if someone, let's say, was able to do it and someone pushes through right now, 138 I believe is the current like record. So if we use like 140 kind of as our metric over here, and it takes people like 14 minutes to clear, versus if we go to pit 65 and we can do this in like 2 minutes, well, you can see the amount of time that is required is a huge difference. So make sure if you're looking for the best method to farm XP, that you also try to be efficient with it. That's the best thing that I can give you. And again, I'll link everything, but if you're watching this on TikTok, well, you just have to go to the place and find it. But basically, it is at d4pit nullify.app is the way where you can calculate your paragons. So if you want to get XP, this is pretty much the only way to get it. And then a lot of people want to know what is the best way to farm a very specific unique in the game. Like, you're like, I really need this one specific unique. There's a really great website, Maxroll, that has a boss loot table cheat sheet. At the very top, they have all of the brand new Season 10 ones, and it tells you where to get them. So if you're like, oh, I'm playing Barbarian, I need the Saber of Taskell, well, that's going to drop from Varshan. If you're playing the Druid and you want to run the Ravens unique, you can get that from the Beast and Ice. So yeah, it has everything for you, and if you need a very specific one, it's just going to go ahead and tell you exactly where to go. So for example, like Echo Varshan, he drops all of these. And if you need the greater Affix ones, obviously go as high as you can in Tormented difficulty, and it should have a higher chance to drop. There's more of a chance to drop greater Affix pieces of gear as you go up. So that's another way to like farm kind of exactly what you need as far as the uniques, and that's the target farming. Next up though, all of the different like materials, most of them you'll just get kind of by playing. They've kind of eased up on like the rawhide and the iron chunks and all those things. I'll honestly just play the game and you'll get most of those. The bottleneck that most people will reach is going to be the Forgotten Souls. So where do we get these? And let's go ahead and go over them. So first off, legions are excellent. Hopefully there's one that appears on the map over here. But there are these little events over here. You can see where it says Legion, and this will also reward you with Grim Favors. Grim Favors right now are the top tier because of the double that you're getting, because there's an event going on right now. If you check, there's like a bonus cache over here. So that is huge, so make sure you guys take advantage of that. Also, if there's any world bosses, these are always worth doing, as you could get a tribute that will give you the ability to maybe get a Mythic from the Undercity. But always do those in groups as well. But Legions are going to be kind of your key here, as well as if you do the Helltide. Opening up the Helltide chests are going to be fantastic for, again, those Forgotten Souls. That's the bottleneck when you're trying to, like, you know, masterwork your gear. You're going to need a lot of those, as well as Obducite. Obducite is another thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But also, the gems. If you're looking to craft some of the top tier gems, you can also trade gems on, like, the Diablo trade website for, like, gold, or maybe even items. But it's really just the Infernal Hordes. It can give you, like, a huge amount, but also Whispers. And then there's also a bunch of Nightmare Dungeon modifiers that will give you very specific things. There's a lot of different materials. And also, there is a brand new update in Season 10 that gives you this little icon. See how this one has this little icon of a little like red, like a gate? That means if I do this, I will gain 5 Grim Favors. Now these rotate through time. You'll see that there's a duration where it says grants Grim Favor for 53 minutes. Once that duration is up, it will rotate. But a lot of these may have Herodic Strong Rooms. Herodic Strong Rooms will be excellent for Obducite, which is your crafting material that is going to be used to upgrade your gear pretty much towards the end of the game. But again, Forgotten Souls is the only thing that most people will run to bottleneck. The rest of them, again, Legions are pretty much the excellent way to get also bundled herbs, and pretty much all the other stuff you kind of just salvage stuff for it, so it's not anything really like particular that you need to farm. It's this that people dry up on before really anything else when you're upgrading. So that's why I'm mainly mentioning those, but the rest of the stuff you can just play the game. But again, next up, Obducite. So the strong rooms are excellent for that. Like, and the Nightmare Dungeons, some of them will give you certain very specific things. But there's also another great way to farm Obducite, which is used to upgrade your gear, and that is one of the tributes. So the Tribute of Refinement. By the way, this will require you to have the Diablo expansion. If you don't have it, then forget about this because it doesn't work. But yeah, you can get Obducite. These are very, very fast. You usually want to try to do these in a rotation in a group. Again, grouping is excellent in Diablo 4. So try to use these, and there's people that will say like doing Undercity, and then it'll be like, they'll call it a rota run. So that means that everyone pops like 1 or 5, or you figure out what you're doing with the group. So yeah, utilize that to your advantage over there. And then the next thing that we're going to be talking about is gold. How can I get as much gold? What's the best method for farming gold? Honestly, the best way to get gold is to go to the Diablo trade website and sell your things for millions and billions of gold. That's the best way to realistically get gold. However, I get it, some people don't want to engage in trade, but I do have a trade video guide that I will also provide for you guys that'll kind of show you how to use the Diablo trade website, because it's not super beginner friendly. But as far as it goes, if you just want to play the game and get gold, the best is do the Whispers turn in, and at the very end, of the Infernal Hordes. You can also get gold, but I would recommend getting the Obducite. It's just much more worth it. But just turning in the Whispers, again, with the tree event. But do not do Sellers. I don't know if I can show you guys. These pop up. These are 100% not worth it. They only give you one Grim Favor, and these are like basically double loading screens. So that's the main reason why everyone hates doing Sellers. There's really no point. But for the most part, I would recommend, as far as the Grim Favor stuff to like turn in, because this is where you would get gold, is just do the stuff that's in the Helltide, because then you can open up the Helltide chest and get more Forgotten Souls and other forms of currency, and also boss materials to do the bosses to get your Mythics. Now, if you are interested in getting Infernal Warp, there's lots of different ways you can get some of the Nightmare Dungeons that can give you some of the Chaos Rifts inside, which will then give you Warp. But I found the best way to really grind the Infernal Warp is to go to the Helltide. There's one random mod that you can get when you do some of the Chaos Rifts content, is that you'll get Infernal Warp on hit. Once you get that, just go as fast as possible, and you're going to get so much Infernal Warp from that. That's the main thing that I would recommend. There also is a bounty board, and what some people do is they reset their bounty board by making brand new characters, and they make the same character and they just basically get power leveled, or they just level up a brand new character, and this way you get all of the rewards, and you need to get this Infernal Warp anyways to progress, and you could do these infinite times. And if you're looking for the Chaos Armors, you can also open up the Greater Infernal Caches to basically guarantee a Chaos Unique, because if you complete your season journey, and you put these ash points in. By the way, if you complete your season journey, you're going to have all these, so it doesn't really matter what you go into. But I would say go from left to right in terms of like which order that you put your ashes in. These are kind of like special things for every single season and kind of mix it up. But basically, this is the one that you want to look at. It's Urn of Chaos Armor, so it says transfer a Chaos Armor from Greater Infernal Caches, and this is how you obtain the Infernal Caches. You just do this reputation board, and again, you could do these infinitely, but at the very end, you're going to be able to infinitely open up those. And if you really want to try to farm the Warp, well, I would recommend the Helltides, as well as if there is a Nightmare Dungeon mod, that is another way you can get it, but you'll just get Warp in general. But I think Helltide is overall the best bang for your buck, because you could also do Grim Favors inside of the Helltide, and then you're getting a lot of other things. Now, this is a very frequently asked question. What about the Mythics? I'm looking to get those Mythic items, those purple items, like let's say the Air Perdition or whatever you're trying to go for, right? The Mythic items. So the best way, realistically, once you're at the end game, because these are kind of only really meant for the end game, is just to do the bosses again and again. Oh, we're on normal difficulty here, so these won't show up, because what we were doing is sometimes when I help power level people, I have to make the game in normal difficulty, but always do all of these on Tormented 4. If you're like, I really need to get a Mythic, I would just save your stuff to get to T4, and then try to go for the Mythic, because the drop chances are just going to be better as you go up. And you can always, again, do these in a group. Usually there's going to be someone that can be a carry in the group, and they can one-shot the boss. That's not the problem. It's just that like you need to find like the people to do it together. Even though everyone has to pay for their own chest opening, it still gives you a better chance for Belial to spawn in, therefore getting more extra materials. But as far as the Mythics go, the Tormented 4, the Layer bosses, the Exalted bosses, and then also you can farm the Reputation board. So this is why a lot of people this season are making lots of extra characters, is because you have the ability to get a guaranteed spark at the very end of your Reputation board. And then also if you do defeat Lilith, it just has to be Tormented 1, and she's so much easier now. But if you go do Lilith over here, this is where it's at. The Echo of Hatred. You can also search for the Party Finder, but like honestly, it's pretty easy in Tormented 1. This one shouldn't be an issue. You can get a spark for your very first time of killing it. I'll end up making a dedicated how to like farm Mythics video, but to kind of sum it up, it's kind of doing the same stuff again and again. You can also get a tribute. I don't have one at the moment here, but there's also a tribute that it's like able to get a Mythic off of the Undercity. Again, do those in a group if it's the one that does work in a group. There's like a one where it's called United, where everyone can get the rewards, but pretty much you have kind of two options. You can keep on farming the bosses. It's not the most enjoyable, I'm not gonna lie, but the farming the spark, you get one guaranteed spark every single time that you do this. At the very end of the bounty board, when you do complete this, you do get a guaranteed spark. So this is a guaranteed way. Again, it costs 2 sparks plus the runes to actually craft the mythic, and then you can guarantee get the exact thing that you want. Usually most builds this season it's like 1 to 2, and the reason why is because nowadays with the chaos armors you may not really need that many of the mythics, so don't worry too much about it in this season if you don't happen to have mythics, because there's a lot of great options. The one exception is like Ring of the Star of the Skies is actually pretty hard to replace. But yeah, you can also keep on farming the reputation board and then again tributes. If you're like, where can I level up my glyphs? There's only one option. It's been this way actually for quite a long time. There's actually a really good like chart over here that shows people kind of where to farm. This one is kind of from season 6, so it's a little bit outdated, but this was a really great tool that we had before. That just was a really great chart that someone made over on Reddit. But for the most part, I'm going to give you guys like the updated version, but it's still a kind of a nice visual thing to look at. But yeah, if you're looking for glyphs, pit only. If you're looking to get the chaos armors, the infernal hordes are going to be your absolute key here. So that is these ones over here. Now I would recommend, if you want to get that guaranteed 666 Aether, wave cap 10 is going to pretty much guarantee it. However, if you want to pop the ones that have cap 8, that's totally fine. However, cap 6 could be pretty difficult to reach that 666 requirement. I would say surprisingly, the wave cap 8, if you are running a good build and you have a good group, this one is actually superior to this one if you just care about the chaos uniques. The other chest that you can open up at the very end of the infernal hordes, it is not too bad, but honestly, if you are running a good build, this one technically is better, because if all you care about is the chaos uniques, then yeah. And I already showed you that reputation board thing that you can infinitely get as long as you get the reputation. And oh, also there's another thing that I should mention over here. There is a vendor here that will sell you a warp scroll, and this will cost the seasonal currency over here. So if we go to the chaos perks, this is the infernal warp. You can exchange this infernal warp over here, the extra ones, because like let's say I don't need any of these other ones and I have a bunch of this, and I can go buy these, and then I can pop these over here, these consumables. Make sure that you exit this screen, otherwise it'll sell it to the vendor. So you pop this, and it's going to give you the Viz Jactar Veneration, and this is what gives you your infernal caches. The infernal caches are going to be guaranteed dropping a chaos armor. Let's go ahead and pop one just so you guys can visually see it. So again, this is the easiest way. Boom, look at that, we just got a chaos unique like that. And we also got an amulet over here. Oh, it's got int, that's great, but movement speed, fire rest, not the greatest. But then you also get a compass, and then the compass will then be utilized to get basically another one. So make sure you guys also pop these again in groups, because this is basically your best method to get brand new chaos armors. If you're interested in getting Obols, to go ahead and try to hope that you get something good. We'll go back to Saragar over here. But the best way to farm Obols is just to farm the pit again and again. And again, your goal is to farm these in 1 to 2 minutes. So this is like kind of your ideal goals. If you are trying to get specific runes, you could actually exchange the runes, but they're actually in a very bad ratio. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It is technically doable if you're like, I only want to play solo, I don't want to trade, but the trading is the best for the runes. However, if you get a tribute, which again, you will require the expansion for this, the tributes over here, there's one that will say that it'll grant you runes. Again, do these in a group. Your chances are pretty slim to get the right rune that you want, but sometimes if you actually use the trade chat, sometimes, let me see if there's people in the trade chat. Sometimes in the trade chat, you'll see that like there's people that are trading runes for runes. So you could be like, I have a Bach, I need an Ohm, and it's like kind of 1-to-1. Most people aren't really that stingy, but sometimes people want like 2 for 1 in the same rarity, but the best way is to actually trade for the runes that you need, because I know you need 6 of them for the mythic, which is kind of rough, but honestly the tormented 4 exalted bosses are the best. If you need herbs, the legion events, if you need the boss materials, each one of these is going to be different. So depending on the boss that you want to farm, it depends on the boss that you want to do. But for the most part, if you mouse over, it'll tell you. So if you're like doing the Gregor, you need to do the Helltide. You can also get it from the Undercity with the tributes, but honestly, it's like just RNG. If you want the Adjudicator's Mask, you can do from the Tree of Whispers. This one over here is also Tree of Whispers. And then with this one, you just do the Nightmare Dungeons for the Distilled Fear for the Beast and Ice. And then with the Betrayer's Husk, you're going to be acquiring this from specifically doing some of the bosses, and then they will sometimes randomly spawn another Belial boss. And then this one is kind of like a one that can be converted into any of them. And then this one is required for the It says commonly found in layer boss hordes, so Fields of Judgment over here. And then you can also get this from the world bosses. And then if you want this one, it's found in the glacial fissure. So some of the other bosses have like boss materials to do the other bosses, but pretty much as far as it goes, it's kind of up to you which ones you want to farm. But a lot of you guys may have like hundreds of this, or maybe you have a bunch of nightmare dungeons completed, so you'll have a lot of distilled fear. But if you're just trying to get the mythics, this is kind of like the best way, but it depends on which boss that you're trying to do. And again, use this boss table loot cheat sheet that will go over kind of where you can get that very specific unique that you want. As far as going for the greater affix pieces of gear, I would say just use Obols on the exact one that you're looking for, or visit like the trade. So again, the Obol vendor over here. Again, just do the pits if you're like, I want to farm Obols. There is also some of these will like have these chaos rifts, and some of these chaos rifts will yield Obols or other forms of material. There's actually ones that also, the XP one's kind of mid at the very end, but you also have like warp. Some of these will give you, there's one that has like gems also. Sometimes you can get one that has like equipment, but there is also like gems. If you're looking to get gems, Infernal Hordes are really good, but also you can get these Herodic Gem Reserves. That's also another great way to get gems. But if you're looking for, again, greater affix or certain aspects like offensive ones can roll in, let's say, gloves, or you can roll in an amulet, can roll like anything. But if you're looking for a very specific like max rolled aspect, trade is kind of your best bet. You're supposed to get better results as you climb higher in the pit, but honestly, it's like so mediocre, it's not even worth it. Like if you've seen like the pit 150 clears, it's like 1 or 2 GA like items. It's not really that good. But the overall best thing to do right now, and if you're wondering kind of like what's the best thing for min-maxers, if you want XP, it's 100% pit. If you are interested in leveling up your glyphs, it is 100% the pit. So those are like two non-negotiables. However, the other things that you should be doing when you're not doing those two forms of content, honestly, is just to spam the whispers. And you don't even need the Nightmare Dungeon key to get it, but you will have to walk to the dungeon. You'll see that there is this red icon that says 5 Rune Favors. When we complete this, we're going to be able to go turn in, and this will go all the way up. You can also do some of the stuff at the PvP. This has like a very long cooldown, so do those ones first. But pretty much right now, 100% the best way to do almost all forms of like materials and content is to just get those grim favors and basically get the double dipping right now, because you get double of the chest. And then if you need a very specific things like rings or amulets, you can at least kind of target farm a little bit better. But if you're looking for the mythics, yeah, making either a new character to get guaranteed one may take a couple hours, but it's guaranteed, versus slamming your head against the wall, farming the same boss hundreds of times. Sometimes I still recommend just making a new character. Even if you're like, I only like playing the sorceress, make a brand new sorceress, because that bounty board in Yelsna, which is over here, this could be completed infinite times, but it's infinite times on a brand new character. So you do have to make a brand new character, which I get, it kind of sucks, but you can always move your gear from one character to another, so once you get level 60, it's really not that big of a deal, and then you just get the spark at the very end. Plus you get all the other materials and stuff. It's really not that bad. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. If there's anything else that you guys felt like I should like mention, let me know, and I'll try to update you guys via the comments. But like as far as like all the smaller materials here, again, you're going to get a bunch of these by just playing the game in general. Like some of these will tell you can get it from cash rewards. Again, that's what I'm just saying, just do the Tree of Whispers. It'll pretty much give you everything that you need in the entire game, except for like there are certain things where if you're like, I want to level up glyphs, well, you can't do it by doing the whispers. But whispers right now are top tier, especially because you can do these in a group too, because only one person needs to pop these. That's where, again, playing a group. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. I know it was a long video, but there's just so much to go over. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed it, drop a like. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn that bell if you guys want to see more content in the future, and I'll catch you Diablo gamers in the next video. Peace out.